I'm live. And it's like I was sitting here and you guys, I swear to you, I was sitting here in like the dark for the last 10 minutes because the sun has been behind clouds all morning. And all of a sudden, just as I go live, poof, here's the sun. So of course it's now in half my face. Let's see if I can fix that. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe it'll go away a little bit. Anyway, so welcome you guys to Growing Gratitude. It is Sunday. I am here in my coziness because it is still really cold out in Colorado right now up here in the mountains. The mornings and the nights are very cold, and then we get this beautiful middle of the day as the sun comes out and all of that stuff. But I'm out here kind of keeping an eye on the dogs. Antonio's on the couch. He does not feel good today. I think we all know exactly how he feels actually because last night we had game night and so it's kind of out of our routine to be out that late, and it's also sort of kind of just throws our whole routine off to be when we go to sleep and all of that and all of those things. So it's a little tough, and but it does happen, and so what could we do? And so we got home last night, and neither of us had taken particularly good care of ourselves yesterday. Didn't really eat when we usually eat and that kind of stuff. So when we got home, Antonio had like sensory overload, overwhelm, burnout, shutdown, all of those things kind of happened to him all at once. We got home and he was just so tired and so stressed for such a long time, and so like he just hit his point where like when you're in the negative spoons, that feeling, and he couldn't control his body temperature, and that happens to me, and we get the shivers and we don't feel good, and then for me, and I know for him, we get anxiety that goes along with that, and why are we sick, and what's happening, and how do I take care of my responsibilities now? And so then of course we upset our stomachs and all of those fun things. And this, as you guys, is the universe's way of telling you, and your body and brain's way of telling you that you need a break. You got to stop. And so we made the executive decision to close the truck today on Sunday and spend the day resting and taking care of ourselves so that we can get back at it properly on Monday. So we are having a lazy Sunday together. I have, doing easy foods, all of that stuff, watching TV and truly resting is the plan. Because as you know, that is the only real way to get yourself back up after, kind of depleting your spoons. Excuse me. So that is what we are up to this morning, but that's not why we are here, right? So welcome to Growing Gratitude, which is my very public way of going through my week and really expressing the things that I'm grateful for, no matter how shitty my week was. Because those are the things that keep us going in life. When we're having crappy weeks, if we don't look for the good things that happened amongst the mess, then we will forever be feeling depressed and defeated and all kinds of things. And so it's really important to do this kind of practice, gratitude practice, as silly as it sounds, because it keeps us in a really positive, like mental health space. And that's really the purpose of it, is really making sure that we don't drown in our sorrows, literally, that we don't forget that while terrible things are happening, good things are happening too, and that the universe really tries to take care of keeping us balanced. Right. So with that, we're going to get into some gratitudes. Now, I missed last week because what a boob I am, that who would think that while they're away, you would actually be able to do, I don't know, work. The whole point of being away is that you're away. Not only that, it wasn't like a vacation. We were visiting family and that kind of thing. But like a fool, I said, oh, no problem. I'll do gratitude while I'm away. I'll do it from the hotel room. No problem. But of course, I managed to screw up the time zones and forget and all of that stuff. And so I skipped that week's gratitude. And by default. And then this week, I want to sort of share some of the gratitudes from last week that I didn't get to share publicly. And then, of course, my gratitudes for this week, because it's important to sort of keep up with that stuff and remember that it's out there. So, good morning to you guys. Good morning, Stevie. Good morning, Joe, Burnett, Bernard, Bethany. Welcome. Thank you guys for taking the time to join me for Growing Gratitude. I also want to start off this week kind of thinking about, I think I've sort of talked about it a little bit, but thinking about all of the little things that sort of keep you afloat in life. And sometimes we forget to acknowledge their existence and all of those things. But I think a lot of my gratitudes lie in that stuff, because those are the constants, right? And those are the things that I built, right? So the support system that I built, the bubbles that I built, the home that I built, the marriage that I'm building, right? My family that I'm building, all of those things, right? Yes, I need to have gratitude for them. And I also need to respect myself for creating them. So we got to think about that stuff too. I feel like that's in there for me this week. So, first off, um, giant shout out to my family in New York, right? I married into my family in New York, and I don't have any real blood family left on the planet. It's sort of just me as a straggler. And so I married into this family, and now they are my family. And so that's amazing. And that's why we were back in New York. And so a shout out to them, because I remember I did the whole being back alive, and I talked about the work that we do to travel and all of that stuff, and that we don't really want to, we don't really need people to feel sorry for us, or to, um, you know, cover the monetary costs or all of that stuff. But what really makes all of that work worth it is when folks acknowledge, right, that we've done this work, right? And so I want to say that for the first time, I think, ever in my life, it was acknowledged when we got there how much work we did, and we were appreciated multiple times for doing the work to be out there. And that was part of what made the trip so amazing, right? And so, because it was already like, it already started in the space of gratitude. It began in that space of gratitude, right? And so immediately it was already worth the trip, right? So gratitude's for that. And that when we send things out into the universe usually does reply if we're paying attention, right? And I was definitely paying attention. So I'm grateful to my family out there. And, it's a interesting thing about family the older you get. When you're in your younger years, you sort of take them for granted, and you sort of figure out that they're around and they'll tolerate a whole lot more than anybody else, and all that kind of stuff, and they're also really annoying and blah 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 blah, right? But as we get older, it's sort of like, when we're thinking about our bubbles and when we're thinking about our spheres, right? It's important that somewhere in there we have family, and whatever family means to you, right? Whatever, whether you've married into it and you don't talk to your family of blood, or any other combination thereof, right? But that family of choice, right? And that becomes, the older we get, really the how we define our bubble, right? If we decide to kind of continue or not continue family excursions, those kind of things. But this time it was really worth it. We had a really great visit. We had a lot of time actually alone together, which was nice, because when we're home, just like all other human beings, we're so busy with our daily lives that we don't often get undistracted time to spend with one another. So that was really nice. And so we enjoyed that. And we did a lot of eating, you guys. I told you, I am grateful for the food in New York right now. That's my next gratitude. Because I don't know. And like, thank goodness neither one of us overdid it enough to make ourselves sick. But man, do I miss the food in New York. I gotta tell you, I love Colorado so much. You'd have to like cut off appendages to make me move from this state, right? But the food here leaves you wanting, I gotta say. If you ever come to Colorado, understand that that food is not, it's not a food mecca yet here. And also, we really don't ever eat fish here. Is what I have to say. I mean, it's really hard to get fresh fish to the state of Colorado because we're so far away from the sources. So that was something that Antonio and I really enjoyed about being back in New York. But we were disappointed by some of our old places. Some things have changed, and the quality has changed with it, maybe as a result of COVID, don't know. But it was really a nice visit to go back and see some of our old stomping grounds. I mean, we were, I moved in with Antonio by his family when we moved in together. And so we had a lot of our early dating, early relationship experiences over where we were visiting. And so it was sort of nice to, oh, here go the crazy dogs. It was really, look at them, they're insane. Let's see. Here you go. There's Gus being a weirdo. Yeah. Okay. So that's what's going on the side of me. Anyway, but it was really nice to sort of go through those memories and try to to find the good things about how when we built our relationship, how we built our relationship, and those memories. That was really really nice, actually. And little things. It was fun for the first like night or two to be petless in a space and not be woken up or bothered or have to do anything for them. And I guess that's just a general niceness, and I have gratitude for that space of not having those household responsibilities, those daily chores for a couple of days. That was really nice. You know what I mean? It was a really nice break from that. It was. And then let's see what other gratitudes. I think those are my gratitudes from last week. They were really surrounding the trip. I'm so grateful to have been able to see my nephew because I love him to death and he's a smush and he's growing faster. I mean, this is probably the last time that I'll see him where he will be shorter than me. I guarantee that the next time I see him, he's going to be taller than me and bigger than me. But it was so great to see him, and we share autistic brains, the two of us, and so we don't need to do a lot of talking to communicate, as you guys know. And so those moments of non-speaking communication between us really can only happen in person. And so it was nice to know that that was still intact. I think I have a really big gratitude for that, that even with the space and the time between us, that has stayed intact, that bond. And so that was really nice. And I have a lot of gratitude for that as well. So those are like my thank yous for the trip. The last thank you for the trip is I was so glad to come home. I am so proud and grateful for the life that I have built here, that getting home was like, oh yeah, look at what I did. I mean, like, because I was literally from where I was, you know what I mean? The direct comparison, right? And look at what I did for myself. Look at what the dedication, right? The committed consistency will get you, right? And so I had these just big moments of gratitude when I got home for being able to leave the animals with someone that I really trust and know that I didn't have to worry about their well-being the entire time. And I was just so grateful for the home that we've built and the town that we've built, and our employees who took care of our business while we were gone did an amazing job. And I was grateful to them for all of their hard work. So that coming home piece was a big, humongous gratitude piece from a really deep soul place, right? Where it was a lot of like goosebumpy gratitude about that. And that was sort of how my week ended. Antonio and I kind of got back here on a Monday and hit the ground running on Tuesday. We had to do shopping. We had to do all kinds of things for the truck and blah, 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 blah. So there wasn't really any time to relax. Fiona, quiet, please. Thank you. Fiona. Oh, they're so wrestling. Anyway, I'm sorry, you guys. Hey, you guys, quiet, please. Thank you. Penny. God, you guys, I'm sorry. I thought they would like it. Hey, careful. Oh my God. Okay. Anyway, so that was last week. This week we're back at it. We're doing things, and I'm really grateful for the fact that we seem to have sort of found a routine for over at the shack, and things are working out, and we're having things are working out with the staff, and everything's melding nicely, and we're getting a nice pattern in there. So it was nice to come back to that. And I was grateful to come back to my clean house, even though I complained about cleaning it the whole time. That was nice. And then, I sort of had work to do. And so my giant gratitude for this week, like my big overarching gratitude, goes to two of my colleagues who I will not embarrass and name, who, I don't know, they more than had my back on this one. They really pushed me through a lot of it, and with their like belief in me, their belief in that what the work that I do, and the thank you, Bernard, and the work that I do, and the kind of my focus, my purpose, all of those things. These are two people whose work I respect so much, but also actually three people whose work I respect a lot, But two of them were really integral in what I had to do this week, which you guys know that I talked to you a little bit about the fact that I'm pursuing some funding for doing research on quality of life for autistics, or autistic quality of life is what I'm calling it. And the deadline, the final deadline for the full project and everything, I told you I got through the first phase. Well, second phase was due this week. So coming right off that trip, I had to get this thing together. And it's the kind of writing I don't do regularly. And I had to learn a whole bunch of stuff. And I'm, parts of the topic matter is fully in my wheelhouse, but putting in applications from a scientific research place is not really in my wheelhouse yet, right? And so it was a first time to learn these things and sort of whatever. And there were definitely moments where I thought to myself, I don't know, man. I don't know if it's going to happen. I don't know if I can get it together. I don't know if I can explain it right, in a way that that it'll be understood in the scientific community, and just trying to sort of prove the value and the worthiness of the topic of autistic quality of life to get it funded. And of course, this has multi layers for me. First of all, it would just be the beginning of that quality of life research that I really want to do, to create a tool that we can really use to figure out if we're having quality of life or not, and where we're not getting it from, and all of those things, right? So it was like sort of the beginning of that. And it's, the way, as far as grants are concerned, it's not a huge grant. It's a small grant as far as grants are concerned. But it's, it would be important to our community to be granted the money where a autistic person is leading the research, right? And setting up the research and deciding on the research topic. Fiona just stole a towel. She has a full towel in her mouth right now that we use to dry her off when it's raining out. Okay. Anyway, so that has been interesting, and it was a lot of pressure. And when I first started on the journey into this funding, I was like, man, I don't buy it. We'll see what happens. But of course, now I'm invested, and now I have to wait till December 15th, and now I'm gonna eat my fingernails off and just eat chocolate for the next 2 months until they send a decision one way or the other. But that part is hard. So to all of you granting people who do grants out there, who work off grants out there, more power to you that you figured out this waiting game. It is torturous, I tell you. And I've been on it for 2 days and I am being tortured. But in any case, back to my gratitude about my colleagues. They are, their support to the work that I want to do. Oh my God. Can we just, let's share some dog joy here. She'll do this. Oh no, she's making a bed. She's piling. You see that? All the bed, right? Okay. So we're nesting right now up here. Anyway, so we did it, needless to say, with their help and the pressure and the deadlines, and they are not unbusy people. They are very busy people. We managed to get it together and get it in. And so I am so grateful to them for believing in me enough to push me to even get the first phase in, if that makes sense. Because without that little bit, I don't know that I would have done the hard work. And yes, I know she's going to be loud. Sorry, Bill. Fiona, can we not? Fiona. Okay. Anyway, so I have to say gratitude to them, and I'm also grateful for the universe, because the opportunity got presented, and it was in such a weird way that I thought, oh, this is such a good opportunity. I need to forward it on to somebody who does research, because somebody should go get this money, right? And that's how it all started, was like, oh, this came into my inbox and I saw the opportunity because the universe dropped it in my lap, but I didn't see it, right, as an opportunity for me. I just saw it as an opportunity to make sure somebody didn't miss out on it, right? It really took these two people saying to me, why shouldn't that person be you, right? Because we're interested in what you want to research, and we believe in what you want to research, right? I'm trying to see if the neighbor's dog is coming. Hold on. Fiona, it's enough, please. Come sit. Fiona, come. Sit over here. But we did it. They really pushed me to do it, and yeah, why shouldn't it be me? And so we did it. It's in, and fingers, toes, arms, legs, appendages crossed, right? Because it would mean a lot for my career to be able to take a next step forward in my career by doing something really truly meaningful for our community before the universe decides my time here is over, right? And so that would be important. It would also be really set a precedent for autistics leading research, right? And I think it would really be a precedent set for the value of lived experience, right? So lots of pressure, lots of, the politics of wanting to say things the right way for presenting in a grant and all of those things, being able to show that you've thought it out enough that you know the next 5 steps, right? All of that stuff. And they even ask you to be thinking about what the next steps are and how and where you could be looking for future funding, right? And so there's a lot to think about in this, just that, right? The great thing is I now have this document that is fully put together that can be sent into another place for funding because we've had to do all the work already, right? It'll take a few adjustments for each one, but the work part, the hard part is done, right? And so it's not an unuseful document. It's like when you work really hard to create your resume, right? And it's not just for that one job interview, which is probably why you did it in the first place, but you're going to use it after that too. And that's what this document kind of represents to me too. It's me taking the next step, the next risk forward, right? To have the balls big enough to say, I'm ready to tackle research on behalf of my community, right? No pressure back. You got this. You got this, right? Because if not me, who? Right? Let me go first. I'll fuck it up first. No problem, right? But I'm going to push the boundaries and I'm going to set a precedent. And I don't care. I almost don't. Yes, I do. I care if I get it. I do. I'm going to be real. I do care if I get it. It would be a really big deal for me. And it would really put my career in a place where I want it to be, right? We put sort of visions out. We put things out into the universe when we want to build the life that we want to create, right? And I tell you guys that we often need some kind of mentor person, right? And sometimes it's a celebrity, sometimes it's a teacher, a professor, sometimes it's a parent, right? But we sort of need something to help us develop that picture of what we want, right, out of the goals that we're seeking. And very long time ago, as I was setting off on this journey, one of the things that I had sort of listed as something to really consider is whose career I would like my career to look like, right? And they're running around the yard now. They're just running. This is why I moved though, right? Because they have so much space to run right now. They sound like a herd of elephants. Oh my goodness. Guys, quiet. Sorry, I can't control this piece, you guys. I thought it would just be a nice, quiet sit out here while they're out in the yard. Anyway, so it's a big deal. It's a big deal, and these two people are part of making it happen for me. And it's like, even if it doesn't go through, they let me have the confidence. They help me build the confidence to ask for it again, if that makes sense. And I don't know how to repay that. That's not something that you can repay. All you can do is pay that forward. And so if the funding comes through, it will be paid forward so many times. And if I set this precedent, I will pay it. I will be able to continue to pay it forward. But here's the thing, right? One of the people whose careers I really would love my career to look similar to is Brene Brown. And I put that out there into the universe many, many years ago, right? And here's one of the things that is markedly different between my career and hers. And one of the pieces that I am missing in terms of kind of emulating her career, right, is this research piece. I mean, she's done social science research like, a queen, right? Before she published these books, before she became famous, she was doing research. And it's the piece that I'm missing. And I know that it's the next step in the evolution for the self-defined living course. I know that it's the next step for my career. And that's what these two people did. They said, this is the window. You don't see it as your door, but it's your door. Go knock on it. And sometimes we need somebody to be the person who says, go knock on that door. Why not you? And that's what these people are to me. And that, not to say they held my hand along the way, but they fully supported me along the way. Like, here's what they're looking for. This is what this question really means, blah, 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 blah. And when I read their letters of support that were part of the package, I tell you, you guys, I could have cried. Okay. So yeah, that is one of my biggest gratitudes for this week. My other giant gratitude goes out to one of you guys, actually. And Joe, I'm sorry if I'm going to embarrass you, but your package arrived this week. And if I was doing gratitude from downstairs, I would have the box with me, which I took all kinds of good care of. And I wanted to kind of show you, but I got to tell you, Joe sent me the most beautiful care package. I love it so much, Joe. And and her letter, I mean, I don't even know, I don't have the words for it. So what Joe did was pack up a plain brown box in a plain brown wrapping and send me inside these little beautiful, nothing crazy expensive gifts, wrapped in beautiful green tissue paper with green ribbons, and everything has a green theme, right? Because why? Green brings me joy. And her letter inside is something that I don't think I'll ever share, because that girl, I'm not going to share that. That's ours in here. But she is right on the money, as always. And hearing from my students, receiving gratitude from my students, in whatever form it comes from, either it shares or subscribes or registrations for the shit that I continue to do, all of that stuff is really your way of saying thank you to me. And this gift meant to me that somebody's hearing, like, I'm being seen, I'm being heard. And when you feel invisible and like the world doesn't see you, which is how I feel like 95% of the time, that the world just doesn't see me. And it's a very isolating feeling, but it's also very frustrating. And so having moments where someone acknowledges that you not only are you seen and heard, but you are appreciated, is a mind-blowing experience, especially when it comes from a student. And so thank you so much for that, Joe. I am going to share, since I forgot to bring it outside with me, I'm going to share on Tuesday the things that you packed inside, and talk some more about the gift. But know that besides these amazing people who are pushing research ahead for us, your package was the highlight of this week for me. I needed it. Thank you. I really needed it. And the little black, I mean, I can't wait to show people. I'm in love with this cat now. I want to like carry it in my pocket everywhere. I don't know. It may become a stim toy. I'm not sure. But I can't wait to show it to you guys. And it means, of course it means what it means to me, because it was something that Joe does for joy. And so receiving someone else's joy that also brings you joy is like joy cubed, and it's fantastic, right? But it's also something that is a personal thank you between Joe and I, because it's not something she used to allow herself to do, right? To freely give into. And that's what I talk about with self-defined living. There are things that bring us joy, and the purpose and reason for doing them is strictly the joy attached, right? And if something else comes out of it, that's a bonus, right? Okay. I don't know why they're barking now. In any case, Joe, thank you so much. And thank you to the rest of my students as well, who take the time to share, subscribe, tag me in things, acknowledge the work that I do in all kinds of ways, show up to my live streams regularly, all of that stuff. It is something that is irreplaceable and only can come from you guys. It can only, right? And as of right now, there's only so many of you. And so it means a lot. Your registration to stuff that I do means a lot. All of it means a lot. Your $5 on Ko-Fi or whatever it is. It's like, okay, thank you. I'm being seen and heard. Thank you. And it's an acknowledgement of the appreciation. And that's all that I care about, right? any case, so gratitude for that, because that was dope. That was a really fun thing that it was fully unexpected and like a giant mystery and so much fun to open, and I can't wait to share it with everybody on Tuesday. So, Wednesday rather. Tuesday. We haven't done Tuesday in such a long time. On Wednesday. Um, and so I think that's it for me and the gratitudes this week. That was a lot of them, and it's been half an hour almost, and I'm sorry that it was so long, but it's really 2 weeks worth of gratitudes. So let's give myself a break. But it is getting cold out here, and I would like to put my hood up because I'm starting to get chilly. And the dogs are now done running around, so I think it's time to go inside and snuggle Antonio, help him feel a little bit better, watch some movies, hope for snow, and get ready for tomorrow. Tomorrow I'm back at the vet's office for the first time in 2 weeks, and then I am back at it doing CAS stuff and back at the coffee shack making that happen. So I am going to go enjoy the rest of my Sunday. I hope that you guys enjoy the rest of your Sunday, and we'll take some time today to very publicly and very consciously, we're not very publicly, you don't have to do it publicly, but very consciously, do your gratitudes for this week. Even if you had a really shitty week, no matter how shitty it is, there's stuff in there that you have to be grateful for. Even if it's just that you got a good night's rest, or that your bed is the most comfortable bed in the whole world, or that your the person you share space with has decided to help you with something, right? Anything, right? Hey, Michelle, how are you? Glad you joined us. And then, yeah, so that's what I want you to do. Enjoy your Sunday. Go out there and do something about those gratitudes, whether it's to say them publicly out loud to the forest, or to write them down in a journal, or to sing a song about it. You can even share them in the Self-Defined Living group, which you guys have started to do. And I have to tell you, I think it might be my favorite thing when you guys just spontaneously share your gratitudes. I love it so much. And so do it there. I don't care. Do it wherever, but start making sure that you are aware and consciously aware of the things that keep you motivated and that are good and happening in your life, even if they are things that are happening every week, all the time, like having your eyeballs work for you, or your earballs work for you, or anything, right? That's the stuff that really gets us through. So thank you for joining me today. Go out there and do your gratitudes, and then seek some joy, create joy, share joy, all the joys. I will be back here next Sunday with the next Growing Gratitude. And of course, I'll be back on Wednesday with the next Being Back Alive. Until then, I'll see you guys out and about on the interwebs. And before I go, just a quick reminder that this Wednesday is the October seminar for the Self-Defined Living Seminar Series. It is at, I don't remember, 1 p.m., I think. I think it's 1 p.m. On October 27th. And I want you to know that registration is still open, and it will be open and available until the moment that I start the webinar. So if you can get yourself registered and you are interested in time and spoon management, please go over and register now. You can head to beccalori.com, LORY.com, and you can find the Self-Defined Living Seminar Series tab. Scroll down to the bottom of the page and you'll see time and spoon management. Get yourself registered. If you can't catch the live time, don't worry. A recording will be sent to all people registered automatically after we're done. So please go out and register for that. We are through Unit 2 in the fall cohort of Self-Defined Living. And when we are done with Unit 3, I will throw those recordings up so you could do it on your own if you'd like, until the spring when I do it live again, which you can get on the wait list for now. All of that can happen by emailing me directly at info@beccalori.com, or you can head over to beccalori.com and use the contact page on my website. Until then, you guys, I will see you out and about there. Please take a moment to thumbs up me and let me know that the stuff that I'm doing is valuable. Your shares of this stuff mean a lot to me. But really, if you're watching and you haven't subscribed yet, please do me a hook up and subscribe. I really, 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 really want to make it to 1,000 subscribers, and I am almost halfway there. So every single one of your subscriptions makes a difference to me. I don't want to have inorganic growth and go out there and buy subscribers, which is the easy way around it. So please help me get subscribers. Please subscribe if you haven't yet. I'd appreciate that very much, because I am setting that goal for myself and I want to chase it down. It's taken me a hot bit to get really the run of things on YouTube, and now I really want to chase it a little bit. So I'm going to work at that. If you could help me, I'd appreciate it. Otherwise, go out and enjoy your Sunday, man. I intend to do that myself. And I will see you guys out and about out there. Have a good one, you guys. Bye.